Alright, so before I get into the video, allow me to clear up its fucking title, because, like, I already know some God of High School fans are gonna get on my ass for that, but just hear me out. That was mostly just bait. I do not think this nigga Mori Jin is unironically fodder. In fact, I would have to be absolutely mental to even make that fucking claim, considering even some of the weakest variants of Mori Jin, like Nationals Mori Jin, are capable of blowing a hole through the moon with Yui, a feat which has been calculated requiring over 2,300 petatons of force, which is high-end multi-continental. Just to put that feat into perspective, the most powerful nuclear bomb ever detonated, the SAR Bomba, exploded with the force of 50 megatons, and this was so powerful that it completely flattened buildings from over 50 kilometers away, apparently. This would still be 2.3 billion times weaker than Mori Jin's basic ass attack he pretty much did off instinct. So yeah, when characters start casually outputting fucking more energy than 2.3 billion nuclear bombs, you can't logically call them fucking weak anymore. That would just make no fucking sense. So yeah, before you niggas get off on my ass in the comment section, just watch the first minute of the fucking video. Like, gee, nah, cause I'm really done. I'm fucking done. Anyway, so with that out of the way, let's just cue the intro and get right to the scaling. I honestly never know how to start these fucking things. So starting off with what is arguably Mori Jin's second or third strongest variant, we have Sage Realm Mori. And Mori Jin during this arc was capable of combating Adrun, the first crown prince of Nantaka. Adrun being an entity stated capable of casually fragmenting the Sage Realm planet beyond its GBE with a single attack. And this crazy ass feat would be consistent with the rest of his scaling, as he is later shown accomplishing a similar feat in which he cuts the Sage Realm planet in two with an attack that was not only blocked by Mori Jin, but that never actually made contact with the planet's surface. And just to make this feat seem even more impressive, this splitting of the world would later go on to cause the planet's explosion and complete vaporization. So upon first look, I assume these feats would be at utmost planetary, but after a closer inspection, these feats and statement are actually far more impressive than I originally thought, as the Sage Realm planet has actually had its size calculated anywhere from dwarf through large star level, obviously making its destruction a star level feat. And Mori Jin would obviously scale to, if not outscale, all of these feats, as he is actively shown blocking not only the attack which split the Sage Realm planet, but the attack which was supposedly capable of shattering the world beyond its GBE. And he's even shown taking the Sage Realm's explosion at point blank range while heavily fatigued and in base. So Mori Jin during the Sage Realm arc is definitely star level, bare minimum. I've even seen people argue that, oh, given the allotted size of the Sage Realm planet, it should have exploded with the force of a supernova, which is headcanon as fuck. But if you want to take that into consideration, by all means, be my fucking guest. It's none of my business, really. So after pretty much tanking the Sage Realm's explosion, Mori Jin is sent into the Skyscraper, a plane of existence which coexists with the Heavenly Realm, the Skyscraper being composed of 7,000 different layered areas of space, each layer being referred to as its own separate dimension. Now, how strong Mori gets after completing the tower, we don't get to see until his return to the human world after the end of Ragnarok, which I will be covering shortly. But before I do that, I do want to talk about a pretty interesting highball which can be applied to Mori Jin due to the composition of the Skyscraper. So, as stated before, the Skyscraper is composed of 7,000 different layers of space, each one being referred to as its own separate dimension. And for the sake of wanking Mori Jin, the term dimension could arguably be referring to higher order spaces or spatial dimensions rather than just a separate time-space universe or like a cosmos like it does in Naruto. This would arguably equate moving up one position within the tower to dimensional transcendence. If this is the case, Mori Jin, who entered the tower as a three-dimensional entity, would only be able to reach the top after exceeding his own 3D existence over 7,000 different times, which would make Mori Jin high hyperversal, which is described as a character with a finite number of dimensions greater than 12. This would obviously apply to Mori Jin, as Mori Jin would have to dimensionally transcend over 7k different times in order to make it to the top of the tower, which he did. The problem with this argument is that the term dimension is obviously not being used to refer to higher order spaces, but rather just a separate cosmos, as mentioned before. We know this is the case because, one, it would make no narrative sense for Mori Jin to have dimensionally transcended 7,000 different times to only supposedly be 4D by the time Ragnarok concluded, and two, one of the four guardians outright refers to these dimensions as a cosmos, and almost all of these dimensions were depicted with their own cosmos anyways, so it's much more likely that the term dimension is referring to a cosmos or a universe or a time space rather than a spatial dimension. Now, moving to Ragnarok, which is where I will try to conclude this video, and it's probably where Mori Jin's, scaling gets the most fucking insane anyway, and it's where the universal meta comes from and all that other bullshit. Also, for those of you who don't know what Hyperversal equates to or are not familiar with the tiering system for character strength-wise, that's fine. You don't really need to know what it means. It basically just means that Mori Jin would be 12 sets of uncountable infinity stronger than a baseline universal character. And if you don't know what that means, just know it means he fucking flicks Goku out of existence. Fucking light novel Rimuru, the nigga who fucking swallowed infinite universes or something stupid like that. Yeah, he would sneeze on that nigga and he would die. You know what I'm saying? Izaioi from fucking Problem Child. Yeah, the nigga who could fight people who were singing and rewriting an infinite multiverse. That bitch can't even comprehend his existence. Like, it's basically the second or third highest tier a character can reach, strength-wise, right behind Hyperversal and Balance. So yeah, this is why this fucking rank is so outlandish and should never be used. I just thought it'd be fun to bring up, and I have seen it done before. If you're like fucking debating retards, go ahead, bring that shit up. But like, if he seems like he knows what he's doing and he knows that, oh, the fucking term dimension can have multiple meanings and he's gonna argue semantics with you, don't even fucking try it. Like, this is a losing argument. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to bring up. Moving on. So in the previous portions of this video, we established that Mori Jin at the time of the Sage Realm arc was bare minimum star level, and this would still be consistent with his Ragnarok scaling, as he should be superior to the likes of Dawi and his clone Mori Hugh, who are capable of launching Jupiter back into its orbit, a feat which has been calculated requiring star level amounts of energy. He should also be relative, if not superior, to the likes of the Jade Emperor, who casually was capable of vaporizing the continent of Asia on a subatomic level, which has been calculated requiring small star level amounts of energy. And I'm pretty sure most of you are thinking, how the fuck is the destruction of a continent a star level feat? Well, to answer that question, I will need to explain the meaning of attack potency, which doesn't actually refer to the amount of damage an attack actually does to its surroundings, but rather the amount of energy the attack requires and how much these energy values would equate to destructive capacity wise. AP also refers to the caliber of character you're capable of harming, but in this case, the first definition would be the correct one. So, now that we've established that star level is still an accurate gauge for his power, is there any new tier we can scale Mori Jin to? Well, obviously yes, as after training in the Skyscraper arc, Mori Jin is capable of combating the likes of Satan, a being with the power to clone himself over 2 quadrillion times. Mori Jin, after amping his power by over 250,000 times via acupuncture, is capable of vaporizing every single one of these clones with a single kick. Now, assuming these clones had relative durability to Satan himself, which means it would be bare minimum star level, Mori Jin's feat would range anywhere from multi-solar system level to low-end universal or low-end just low-end 3A, which is the ability to destroy all the matter within an observable universe. Now, if you don't agree with this method of scaling Mori Jin, and I know a lot of you won't since it is a bit of a stretch, there are other methods in which we can get him to these levels of power. For instance, if we use the 250k amp he gives himself by acupuncture, which would multiply his already star level power by thousands of times, making him bare minimum multi-solar system level. We could also, argue he's fucking universal plus in this arc by virtue of a possible 4D existence, at least according to Satan and Odin, making him, a set of countable infinity above high universal beings already. So, yeah, there are multiple ways to argue universal and multi-solar system Mori Jin during the Ragnarok arc, but do take these arguments with a grain of salt, as the 4D existence, argument was posed in the form of a question by Satan, and the whole fucking star level clone durability is a bit headcandy. It is a bit of a stretch, although I do think it is still viable. Alright, that is it. That is the end of this fucking video. I mean, Jesus Christ. I feel like I went over everything, and I feel like I've been recording this for like a fucking hour now, for like a 10-minute video. So, and I haven't even fucking edited this shit yet, so this is probably another 2 hours of work. There you have it. Mori Jin is anywhere from fucking multi-solar system level through universal plus if you highball the shit out of him. If you really just want to jerk his ass off, get on your knees and suck his dick, he's fucking hyperversal and maybe even fucking outer. But like, who's really gonna even make that argument, except for maybe the biggest god of high school tard ever? I don't even know if there are any god of high school tards out there. So yeah, that's the end of this video. If you like what you saw here, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. Just click that button right there. Yeah, just go ahead and just click that button right there. Just go ahead and do that. Yeah, click the button. Yeah.